everybody. Thank you for joining tonight's webinar. This is Graduation 101 by the Pennsylvania Dental Association. I am Amanda Bender, and I am the membership coordinator for PDA, as well as the dental student liaison. So tonight's presenters and schedule: Kathleen will be talking about licensure requirements. Megan will be talking about podiatrist insurance. Davinia will be talking about ADA protective insurance. Tyler from ADAPT, which is ADA practice transitions, he's next. And then Dr. Balous will be talking about CE, the ADA and PDA journal, as well as mentoring. And then I will end with closing remarks and additional questions.
All right. My name is Kathleen Bumpers. I am the Government Relations Manager for the Pennsylvania Dental Association, and I'm just going to give a very brief overview of dental licensure in Pennsylvania. So a licensure overview, everybody who's on the call, when you go to apply for your license, you're mainly going to be looking at two different types of license. So the first one is obviously a dental license. That is for individuals who intend to actively engage in practice or want the ability to be able to legally practice in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. Some of you may also be applying for anesthesia permits. An anesthesia permit would allow somebody who has an active license to practice dentistry to also administer anesthesia. And depending on what type of anesthesia you may be administering, there are 3 different types of permits. So the least, the least difficult to obtain is a restricted 2 permit. That is for individuals who plan to administer nitrous oxide only. Then we go to a restricted permit 1, and those are for individuals who plan to administer conscious sedation or nitrous oxide. And then the unrestricted permit is going to be for individuals who plan to use general anesthesia, deep sedation, conscious sedation, or nitrous oxide. So in Pennsylvania, dentists are required to renew their license every 2 years of each odd number year. And that is going to apply to everybody. All dentists are on the same cycle, the same renewal cycle. There's not going to be, well, somebody renews maybe in 2024 and then somebody renews in 2025. Everybody is on the same renewal cycle. So we just had our last renewal in 2023, the end of March 2023. So the next one will be in by the end of March of 2025. In order to renew a dental license, dentists will need to have 30 hours of continuing education. They will also need to have a current CPR certification, and then any certifications that may be required if you hold an anesthesia permit. And those are going to vary depending on what type of permit you hold. Within those 30 hours, you must have 2 hours of child abuse continuing education. And then if you have a DEA number or use a DEA number to write for controlled substances, you will also need to have 2 hours of continuing education in pain management, identification of addiction, or the prescribing or dispensing of opioids. And then for anybody who may hold an anesthesia permit, either an unrestricted permit or a restricted 1 permit, you will need to take 15 hours of continuing education in anesthesia related courses. So this is important to know for new licensees. You are going to be exempt from the CE hours in the licensure period in which you received your license. What that means is, for many of you on the call who may be applying for a dental license in 2024, when the renewal comes due in 2025, usually the state board opens up renewals sometime in February. But when the renewal comes due, you will be exempt from the 30 hours of continuing education. However, there is one notable exception, and that is going to be the child abuse continuing education. Everybody needs to complete the 2 hours of child abuse continuing education, regardless of whether you are exempt from the other 30 hours. So everybody needs to take child abuse, whether they are exempt or not. So Pennsylvania's licensing system, or the PAL system, as it may otherwise be known, everything is done online. There are no paper applications. You cannot request a paper application. You will not get one. Everything must be done online through the PAL system. The application fee for applying for a license is currently $235. That will be going up in 2025 to, I believe, $268, but it currently is $235. The processing time for a license, once the State Board of Dentistry has received all of your documentation, is going to be 7 to 10 days. However, during what I like to call licensure season, which lasts from approximately the beginning of May through probably the end of June, maybe middle of July, it could take longer. That's going to be when everybody is graduating from dental school. You're also going to have hygienists and EPTAs that are going to be completing programs around that same time, that are going to be applying for licenses. So it may take a little bit longer during licensure season, just because there will be a greater influx of applications. Another thing to note is when you go to apply, there are two different types of applications you can submit. One is via criteria and one is via examination. Almost everybody is going to apply via examination. That means that you've taken a board exam. To do so, criteria is only going to be for people that are coming from another state, or maybe a foreign trained dentist and are applying that way. Okay, so a checklist of what you're going to need when you go to apply for your license. So obviously you're going to complete an application and pay the application fee. You must have 3 hours of child abuse continuing education for your initial license. So you may remember you're only going to need 2 every time you go to renew. However, initially you will need 3 hours. You may obtain this training while you are in dental school. I know some applicants do. It must be a program that is approved by the Department of Human Services, and you can find a full listing of those on the State Board of Dentistry's website. So after you complete the child abuse continuing education, a program sponsor is responsible for forwarding your proof of completion to the State Board of Dentistry on your behalf. So it is very important that when you sign up, when you register for the child abuse CE, that your information matches exactly what is going to be on your licensure application. Your name has to be the same. Obviously, the social security number, everything is going to need to be identical, or the state board is not going to be able to connect the proof of taking a course with your dental application. So obviously you will need to complete a clinical exam, and the State Board of Dentistry currently recognizes 6. Your scores need to be sent directly to the State Board of Dentistry from the clinical exam board. The only exception to that is going to be the CDCA. The State Board of Dentistry has access to their system, so they can go in and look that up. You will need a current CPR certification. The American Heart Association, the American Red Cross, a program that's similar in content, those are acceptable by the State Board of Dentistry. You need to be certified in infant, child, and adult CPR. Any training you take must include all 3. And then the State Board of Dentistry will not accept online courses. It must be an in-person CPR. You will need to get a criminal history check for every state you've lived, worked, or professionally trained in for the past 10 years. The process is going to be the same for almost everybody, except if one of those states is going to be California, Ohio, and there is a 3rd state that is currently slipping my mind. You'll need to get an FBI background check just because of the way the laws work in those states. You'll need to do a self-query from the National Practitioner Database. This probably will not apply to any new graduates, but it might. You'll need a letter in good standing if you currently hold a license to practice in another state. You will need to submit your scores from the national examination, and you can do that by contacting the Joint Commission and requesting that they upload your scores to their online portal, and then the State Board of Dentistry can access them from that. Opioid CE. You will need to have 4 hours in total as an initial licensee. So you'll need to have 2 hours in pain management or identification of addiction, and then you'll also need to have 2 hours in prescribing or dispensing of opioids. This will be a little bit different than some of the other application requirements, because you actually have 12 months from the date that your license is issued to complete that continuing education. You'll need to take it and then submit proof to the board after the fact, so you will not need that when you go to apply for your initial license. You'll need a record of graduation. Again, that will come from your school, and that will go directly to the Pennsylvania State Board of Dentistry. And then last, you will need to submit either a resume or a curriculum vitae to the board. And that is just a general overview of licensure in Pennsylvania. Does anybody have any questions?
Hi, I was curious if we plan on moving states like in the future. Some people have suggested that right off the bat we apply for licenses in both states, or do you recommend just applying later on when we know we're about to move?
I really don't have a recommendation either way. I think it's probably going to depend on what state you are planning to relocate to and what the requirements for that particular state are. Because keeping in mind that if you apply for a Pennsylvania license, even if you are not practicing in Pennsylvania, you will need to uphold the requirements of that license. So if you're moving to a state that has maybe similar renewal requirements to Pennsylvania, I don't see the harm in going ahead and applying right off the bat. But if you move to a state that maybe has more stringent or less stringent requirements than Pennsylvania, it might be, I guess, bothersome for you to, or it might be more work than necessary. Let me put it that way, for you to uphold the renewal requirements. So I really think it's probably just going to depend on what state you're relocating to be quite honest.
Okay, thank you.
Sort of in regards to that last question, is it common or uncommon for practitioners to have licensures in multiple states at the same time? I guess
No.
If you were on the border of a state and you were working between two states, is that a thing?
That is definitely a thing. In Pennsylvania, it is very common for dentists to be duly licensed in Ohio, New York, New Jersey, Delaware, Maryland, West Virginia. That's a very common thing. So absolutely not unheard of, especially if you are going to be really close to the border. It's not uncommon for dentists to say have one practice in New York and then they have one practice in Pennsylvania. That happens all the time.
Thank you.
Sort of another additional follow-up question. Is it possible to just like let your license lapse if you do move it to another state?
Yes, you absolutely can let your license lapse. Nothing bad will happen. You won't get fined. You won't get any kind of penalty. The only thing to keep in mind in letting a license lapse. So Pennsylvania used to have a grace period. If you missed the renewal and you let your license lapse and you decided, let's say 6 months down the road, that you wanted to renew it, that used to be an option. Pennsylvania does not have that any longer. If you have a Pennsylvania license and you don't renew it by the renewal date and you let it lapse, and you decide you want a Pennsylvania license, you want to have one again or you need one again, you're basically going to have to start all over and reapply again, submit all the application requirements, send in a new application. It'll be just like getting a new license. They will not let you renew a lapsed license, if that makes sense.
Makes sense. Thank you.
I have a question about how long after graduating can you apply for a license? Like, can I wait after 2 years, maybe after residency I can apply, or like I have to apply right away?
No, you certainly can wait. If you you graduate, you complete a residency program, you're still deciding what you want to do, you absolutely can wait. There is no, I guess, need to apply right after you graduate. You might need to complete some training that maybe you would have used previously in dental school, such as child abuse continuing education or opioid continuing education. You might need to fulfill those requirements over again. But in terms of like your board examinations and all of that, that will still be completely valid. So there's no harm in waiting.
On the flip
Okay, thank you. Sorry.
on the flip side of that question, like let's say we work for a year or two and then we want to go to residency, should we let our license lapse, or should we continue to pay it so we don't have to reapply?
If you go ahead and apply for a Pennsylvania license right away, and then you decide that you want to go to residency, depending on how long your residency is, you probably will not be facing that. It is possible depending on when the licensure period falls, but not extremely likely. But if you're in that situation, if you think there is a possibility that you might return to Pennsylvania after you complete your residency, then I would not let it lapse. And I would go ahead and complete the renewal requirements and renew that license.
Got it. Thank you.
So I'm Megan Geider, and I am head of the dental division for what we say the acronym PDAS, but it stands for the Pennsylvania Dental Association Insurance Services. So we are proud partners of the PDA. We, as an agency, do everything, but we have a dedicated dental division. And the more and more time goes on, you'll realize how important that is, because we understand the value of equipment, the coverages, limits that people typically have, things like that. We are also exclusive agents for TDIC, which stands for the Dentist Insurance Company. So they have a $50 new graduate policy. So your first year is $50 for a claims made policy, and then it stair steps from there. But we also have several other carriers. So kind of to piggyback on some of the questions Kathleen got, yes, I have many clients that are licensed in multiple states. Maybe a license in one state has expired. Maybe they've got licensed there, but they never practiced there. And so there's all sorts of different discounts depending on your situation, as far as newly licensed, never practiced. Some residencies require you to get a license, but usually not. And so if you're coming out of residency, they consider that as never practicing outside of, a school or residency setting. So you're still eligible for discounts. We work with a variety of carriers, and basically dental's what I do all day, every day. So like I said, we work very closely with the Pennsylvania Dental Association, and we if you want a policy through TDIC, which is a very popular carrier that many people like, you would have to contact us because we're the only ones that you would be able to obtain that coverage through. And then I'll go to my next slide as far as what we offer. So I know you guys aren't probably thinking of the long term quite yet. You're getting ready to get finished with the biggest milestone there is and getting licensed. The one thing that's very important is you cannot take out a professional liability policy until you have your license. I had one doctor, I know the whole family, and I was really excited for him, and he graduated May 15th, and he wanted to take out a policy May 15th, but his license didn't become active until May 31st. So I couldn't make his coverage active till May 31st. So it's very important what Kathleen just said about the licensing portion of it, because that's what starts the ball rolling. And then as far as malpractice goes, most residencies will, I think all of them really will cover you while you're in a residency. It's not uncommon for people to have a gap because they practiced for a year and then went back into residency. I believe that was one question. I forget if it was Tyler, Alexandria. But so, you know, we see all sorts of different situations, and because we specialize in dental insurance, we understand the industry and the different things that you guys, you know, might potentially do. Or maybe you get licensed, but you don't know where you're going to be practicing yet because you're interviewing, or you do one for a month and then it doesn't work out, and you know, you just need to change the practicing location. So all that sort of stuff we're here to help you with. I'd like to say we've seen it all, but in insurance you've never seen it all. So, but we do, like, down the road, if somebody acquires a practice, purchases a practice, we can do the business owners. For a lot of times people do the building in a real estate entity and then the practice, you know, Megan Guider Dentistry LLC, and we can combine that and make sure you've got all the coverages that you need, workers' compensation, if you have employees, things like that. And again, I know this is kind of down the line for you guys tonight, but we have the new dentist program through TDIC. We also have the doctors company that's really great. We work with a variety of carriers in all 50 states. For TDIC, we can only write in Pennsylvania and New Jersey, but we do have carriers that can write in all states. So as long as we're licensed in that state, we can help you. I have a lot of insureds that have moved to Florida, moved to New Jersey, New York, North Carolina, Maryland, Delaware, you know, because of where we're located. We understand that, again, back to what Kathleen was saying about, you know, people do often have licenses in more than just the state of Pennsylvania for that reason. So as you can see, I won't list them all off, but we write all lines. And I know sometimes when people are purchasing a practice, they need business overhead expense, life insurance, there's certain requirements. And basically, to go to my last bullet point, one-stop shop, we can help navigate all that. I have a lot of clients that either have sold practices, purchased practices, changed around, you know, I mean, things are very fluid all the time for everyone. So we can certainly help navigate all of those those things for you, because it is kind of specialized. You know, you can't just, if the building burns down, you can't just rent a locker and work out of there. So, you know, I get a lot of questions about that. Like, well, what happens? Because, you know, a dental office is pretty set up very specifically with the operatories and everything. So we truly understand that. Like I said, I'm the head of the dental division, and that's what we do. we just specialize in helping our dentists. And that's why our relationship with the Pennsylvania Dental Association is so important to us. And, knowing that we know your industry kind of helps alleviate a burden that you don't need to have. You have enough on your plates, especially now during this exciting time. But I would say the biggest thing is you cannot get a malpractice policy in force without that license number. It has to be in force. So as soon as you get that, if you want to take a policy out, like I said, the first year's $50. It stair steps from there. Then if that's for claims made, I wasn't prepared to get into claims made versus occurrence tonight, but if anybody has a question that they want to say on here so that I explain it to everybody, I'd be happy to, because it is very confusing. I got a lot of questions about, is one better than the other? No, they're just different. So, and then basically my next slide is just, how to contact us. We're preferred partners with the Pennsylvania Dental Association. So we have, contacts there. We send out monthly e-blasts. One of the ones I did, because I write them, I don't send them out, but one of the ones I did was on claims made versus occurrence. And it's kind of important when you first start out. It's the most monetary decision, I'll say, that you make as far as whether you want to go claims made or occurrence, but they both do have new dentist programs. We understand you're graduating and it's awesome, you've worked so hard, but there may be some student loans involved, just a thought. So we try to keep that in mind. And so we've partnered with a lot of really great carriers that offer all sorts of things. And to just go in a little bit more about it, I mean, I have some people that work in prisons. I have some people that work, do teledentistry or work in schools, nursing homes. So that kind of thing can be a little bit tricky, but we have solutions for all of it. So if there's anything you think I'm doing, well, I'm thinking of doing this, I'm thinking of doing that, it's everything's fair game, and we can certainly help you find the best coverage for you. I know not a lot of people, but there are some employers who are providing coverage on a limited basis. I've had people who have said, well, I'm dropping down to part-time, so it's not going to be covered any longer. Or people who maybe want to moonlight for friends. So they're working one place, but they don't want their employer to know that, hey, like on their 2 off days, they're working here and here. So, we can accommodate just a variety, all the situations that you guys incur. So this is how to get in touch with us. And again, the PDA, if you were to call them and say, hey, where do I get insurance? They'll contact us directly. So that's why we're PDAS, Pennsylvania Dental Association Insurance Services. So we actually insure the PDA and a lot of the dental societies in the state of Pennsylvania and in New Jersey. So with that, I want to see if anybody has any questions. I know insurance is so awesome and everybody's favorite topic. So I understand if you just want to like call me for a couple hours outside of this. It can be a lot. So just know that we are definitely here to help you. Okay, and with that, going once, going twice, I will send it over to the next speaker. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. My name is Davinia. Thank you so much, Megan. I am going to just share my screen here. And like Megan said, insurance it's quite important. That's why there's two of us speaking about it today. So I will narrow down what we're talking about. We don't offer quite everything that Megan does. So let's get into what it is that you guys probably actually already have. Depending on what school that you're coming from. So again, Davinia Lawler here working with the ADA members insurance plans. Just to start, give you a little bit of history here. Pre-doctoral students, as you know, join ASDA and ADA at the same time. So you get to have benefits from both of the organizations, which is why I'm talking to you today. As a part of your ADA student membership, you receive student benefits. This is provided to you, it's as a financial protection, so that way you can complete your dental education. It's given to you at no cost. We actually pay for them for you, so that way you don't have further expenses. And these are applicable from your D1 through your D4 years and into residency as well as postdoc programs. Now, of course, you can keep these once you graduate. So if we have any recent grads, there's certainly information here for you as well. Now, the ADA actually selected us at Protective to create and service, sorry about that, the ADA members insurance plans. This was almost 90 years ago. So generations of ADA members, dental student members, and their families are covered by our plans. Obviously, therefore, we work exclusively with ADA members. And so therefore, our team of experts, they really understand a dentist's unique needs. I mean, we get up every morning thinking about you, how we can best meet your needs. We don't have distractions, and there's no other customers vying for our attention. And so as a result, just like you, we are well-trained, we are focused, deeply committed to this industry. And so really, because of that, we have created a team specific for you. They're your personal plan specialists that are available to help you choose the right coverage. There are no agents that we work with, no brokers, therefore there's no commissions. So you can be assured that the information that we provide is going to be in your best interest. Now, although we have a whole suite of products designed for dentists as part of your ADA student membership, you receive 2 of those products. And like I mentioned before, that's at no cost to you. So that's what I'm going to really hone in on today. Those 2 products are life and disability insurance. And again, just provided for that financial protection while completing your education. So all of you today are ADA student members, so each of you qualify. Even better, some of you are actually at a dental school or were at a dental school that has made the commitment to provide these for you. So they work with us each fall, and as of your D1 year, we automatically enroll you in these. So some of you actually might have it and not even realize it. But for those of you who aren't in a school or weren't attending a school that did that, you had to voluntarily do so. And if you haven't done that yet and you still want to take advantage of this, because you can even a little bit after you graduate, I'll make sure to share with you how to do that here shortly. But because of all that you have accomplished in school, everything that you're going to accomplish over the next few years, we just view you by far as your best asset. You know, you're your best tool in your toolbox. And so we understand that if you are working, if you're living with purpose, on purpose, we know you should probably protect that. So let's get into it a little bit. We all know that life happens. It's not necessarily a fun or glamorous thing to talk about, but it is a fact. Life is fragile. Any one of us, can have our lives forever changed in an instant. And so really insurance just exists to help protect against that unexpected or costly event that could disrupt your personal and your professional plans, and possibly even for not just yourself, but those who love and support you. So again, we're going to hone in on the 2 different policies that you have, because with the high earning potential that you have when you become a practicing dentist, that means that you have a lot that you need to protect. And 2 ways to do that are through the life insurance and disability. To quickly just summarize what each of those things are, if you aren't aware, as a dentist, you're constantly going to be on your feet. You're going to be using your hands to work. And so that means a temporary injury, something as simple as like a broken wrist or a sprained ankle. That might not put somebody else who has a desk job out of work, but it could certainly keep you from practicing. It could even keep you from attending classes, right? It might even postpone graduation. So what happens if you become injured? Well, disability insurance, it gives you a predictable income. So if you cannot practice dentistry and you need help through the rough time, you've got an income coming in. You might not be able to prevent a disability, right? But you can certainly take the necessary precautions to lessen its impact with that insurance income. I mean, you've invested so much in your future, so make sure that you protect that. Moving on to life insurance. I think most people are more familiar with this, but while disability income protects your personal income, life insurance is really there to protect the people or causes that you care about if something should happen to you. Again, this is a topic very few of us really want to think about, but let's think about what would happen if the unthinkable happened. Who would cover your student loans? Who would help financially support your family? Even just cover your final expenses. I mean, how many people here have had a friend or a family member post a GoFundMe account simply because they weren't prepared for an unfortunate event like this, right? I mean, I think all of us can relate to that. So even if you don't have a student loan debt or family to support, maybe you are relying on somebody who you'd like to leave something to because they've been so helpful for you. Most people don't know that life insurance, if none of that applies to you, can actually be left to a charity. So if you've got a cause that you're really passionate about, you can certainly leave money to them. Now, again, life insurance just ensures that who and what you leave behind will continue to thrive even in your absence. Now, that's kind of a negative thing to consider and think about. Of course, we always want to be prepared for those things, but I want you to be aware that it's not just about protecting the what ifs. There's a lot of business uses for these types of insurance plans, and most dentists will eventually need them. So when it comes time to graduate from dental school, if you haven't passed away or become disabled, you can still get something out of these plans. So life and disability are practical tools. There's just 3 things listed here that would be means to be able to further your personal and professional goals. We've talked quite a bit about the legacy, which is all the way to the right. So to summarize the debt protection and loan collateral, for those of you who are interested in opening up your own practice at some point, your insurance can be used, obviously, to protect you from the debt. We talked about student loans already, but practice loans, buy-sell agreements can be categorized within that as well. Insurance can be kind of looked at as an asset. You're going to be viewed as financially responsible, especially if you want to not just purchase a practice, but potentially expand one. So again, a couple of practical tools for you, some things to recognize that these will help you, benefit you, even when something negative or something negative doesn't have to happen in your life. But now that we've kind of just given you a couple of simple facts about why this insurance might be important to you, not just as a practicing dentist, but of course as a student, let's talk a little bit about what exactly is available to you now. If you weren't aware, these 2 plans are broken up as follows. So you're looking at $2,000 per month in disability insurance. Again, if you are at a school that has provided this for you you're automatically enrolled in this. This is something you're interested in. I'll make sure that I provide a QR code so you can sign up. And then that also includes up to $150,000 in money to be able to help repay student loans. Again, don't necessarily hope that we ever become disabled, but if we are disabled long enough to where we can't, go to school, at least for the 6-month period, your student loan is going to kind of kick in and you're going to need to start paying that. So we put this as a provision to be able to help you if that were to be the case. On the other hand, if you were to some reason pass away while you're in school, you are covered with $50,000 of life insurance and an additional $50,000 for the accidental death benefit. Again, I think accidental death, it's already defined in its name, but we recognize, most students, your age group, you pass away by accident. It's not something due to like a chronic disease such as cancer or something along those lines. So again, this is what you have as a student. You have access to it. It is available for you again from your D1 through your D4 year. If you go into a postdoc or residency program, just let us know, give us your new graduation date, and we can extend these for you. But real quick, I am going to pause here and I'm going to take a moment to discuss that column on here that says acceptance guaranteed. This is hugely important. If you are not aware, if you've never done it before, you don't know exactly what the process is. So you apply for insurance, then somebody will come out, a paramed will come out, weigh you, measure you, pull some blood, do a urinalysis, everything that they need to be able to evaluate your current health. They will look into your medical information bureau, which is the history of your medical health as well. They will look into your prescriptions, your family's medical history, depending on what insurance policy or how much of a benefit you're going to look at. They might look into your tax forms, your finances, basically, to make sure that they're covering you adequately or not too much. Long story short, this can be kind of a tedious process. Can certainly take a short period of time, but it can take up to anywhere from 8 to 12 weeks, kind of depending on what that history is, what they need to evaluate. I bring all of this up because these plans are acceptance guaranteed. That is huge. For those of you who have it, you know that you didn't have to go through any of that. For those of you who are considering keeping this, when you go out into practice, this is not something that you have to do then either if you want to keep these. So I'll talk to you a little bit more about what that looks like, because as we all want to know what happens when you're no longer a dental student, right? You have this at no cost now as a student, but what about if I've just recently graduated or I'm going to soon? So these two plans you have right now or will have right now, there are two things. They do become three. Let me share with you what I mean by that. So current year graduates, they're eligible to convert these student life and disability benefits to much more comprehensive plans. Again, it's acceptance guaranteed. They are discounted by simply paying the premiums that's due in January following graduation, because this coverage is free to you. Even though you're going to graduate in May, you have until December of the year you graduate, and then you can convert these plans to a more comprehensive plan. Again, you're going to be able to avoid the underwriting scenario, helping to avoid that 6 to 12 week process involving the paramed exam I mentioned, the lengthy application process, and pretty much going back and forth with collecting medical records, tax documents, and all that fun stuff. And again, like I mentioned, for those of you going into residency, you can keep this at no cost for you. You just got to give us your graduation date, make sure that we extend that for you. And you have, if you are a recent grad, you can still sign up for this and keep it until December of this year. I know we're getting close. Your cutoff date is usually 10/1, aka 2 days ago, but we have extended it for those of you who are on this call. You can have it until the 10th of October to be able to still get into this and at least have those two months of coverage and potentially convert if that's what you'd like to do. But real quick, I will just share with you the two major changes that happen when you convert these. If you wanted to keep these, you will again start to pay, but that's not until January of the year after you graduate. So your disability insurance, it still remains that $2,000 a month. You can see that in the third bullet there, and that's your income protection still. It can split into a second plan here. So you're welcome to keep 1, 2, or all 3 of them if you convert. The second one there within the disability insurance column is your office overhead expense. This will be another $2,000 a month that can go towards your student loan protection. So you still have that there. The advantage you have with this is that as you are in practice, if you decide to purchase and own your own practice, then when you don't have your student loan anymore, or even if you still have it in concurrently, then you can use this $2,000 a month to take care of the expenses of maintaining your office. Moving on to the life insurance, the $50,000 you have now for both the accidental death and the life double to $100,000. That is automatic. It happens as of July 1st of your couple months after you graduate. And so that is what you have at no cost until December. And that is what you would be converting. So let me quickly just kind of give you a timeline, a couple of things to do here at graduation and beyond. Number one, obviously, make sure that you are covered. I will share with you that QR code that I keep mentioning. Then register an online account. That'll allow us to be able to be in communication with you, give you all of the options that you have, depending on what path you choose to take. Speaking of your path, look at that second column there. Make sure that you update your account with any post-graduation information that we will need. So if your address changes, which I'm sure it will, if your email changes, that sort of thing, make sure that you keep that all up to date. We will provide a next step survey to make sure that we ask you all those questions so we can help set you up correctly. And then we'll incentivize you with a $10 Chipotle gift card as well. So that starts in March of your D4 year. And then consider conversion options. You are welcome to reach out to us. We have a plan specialist that I mentioned to you that is specific to your school. Each one of you have a different one. Our goal is to make sure that they grow with you, they grow with your goals and your career, and they would be your go-to after I no longer am. From there, if you decide you want to convert, keep that no coverage, or I'm sorry, that no cost coverage as long as you can, but you're welcome to set up auto pay for January of the year after you graduate. And we do that with what's called a pledge to pay form. After that, just be on the lookout for your invoices in December. If you did sign up for that pledge to pay, so to speak, you'll get a reminder of that in October, November timeframe, making sure that this is still what you want to do, that you did get the plans that you were hoping to, and if you need to make any changes from there, you certainly can. And then for those of you who might not have prepared, you're going to get an invoice anyway, so don't be confused. It just allows you to be able to start paying your premiums as of January 1st if you did want to initiate coverage. So let's look at the QR code to be able to activate your current no-cost life and disability insurance. This is what you would use here. This might ask you for your ADA number. You can skip it. If you just give us everything else, we'll be able to locate your membership information, and then we'll be able to send you out your packet. Now, in your packet, you're going to receive an insurance card, or I'm sorry, your certificates of insurance. It's gonna be a pretty big, thick packet. In that will also include your beneficiary form. So you'll definitely want to make sure you fill that out and send that back to us so we know that if something did happen to you, who we send that money to. You're also going to receive an insurance card. And in the next slide, I do have a picture of that just so you can be on the lookout for that. If you know for certain that you've applied for this and you haven't received one of these things yet, do make sure that you use this QR code as well. We might have a different address for you on file. Most often when you enroll in school, then we use that address and you most likely live somewhere quite different at this point. So use this QR code to update your address. And here's a picture of what your insurance card will look like. The last component to this here is that you want to just register an account online. So while the card is convenient to have, so you always have your information, it's very easy to lose. If you don't carry a purse like I don't, you just have a wallet, you want to have as few things in there as possible. So we recommend that you register that account online. And right now we're doing a promotion to encourage that, where you can get a $5 Starbucks gift card. So let me give you that QR code here in a moment. This is for if you have never registered an account before, you're going to be able to do that and receive that $5. But I recognize quite a few of you on here tonight, so I'm sure that you've already done this with me. But what you can do is also use the next QR code to be able to get the $5. You just simply have to log in with the QR code and then either update your information if applicable or confirm it if it's good to go. So here's your QR code there. Don't have your phone in front of you, just go to ada.protective.com/break. This one takes a little bit longer than that first QR code I shared with you. So if you do set this aside, make sure you get it done by October 11th. October 11th for this, October 10th if you are a recent grad for the other one. So that way you're guaranteed to get the coverage plus the $5. I'll leave this on here for a little bit longer. I do plan on sending everybody a recap of this and links just in case you didn't get this. Some of you might be cooking dinner in the middle of this, so I'll make sure that I provide that. And last but not least, I do want to introduce you to our team of experts. I will give you my personal contact information. I'm all the way over there to the right. That is my cell phone. If you need me, please reach out to me. I am traveling quite often. If you have seen me on your campus, you know that to be true. And so texting is usually the fastest way to get a hold of me. Certainly you're welcome to email me as well if that's easier. Ryan Klein, the one who's highlighted there, he is specific to all of Pennsylvania. So if you're at Temple, Penn, or Pitt, he's your man. And he will be the person, he's really your go-to after graduation or during graduation. So if you wanted to set up that consultation and I'm out on the road, he'll be the one that works with you. So again, this information will be in that recap email. I will stop right here and I'll just ask you if there's anything that I can answer for you. All right, I know it was a lot to take in, so hopefully I did a good job of explaining everything. Again, you'll get that email from me, so you'll have a means to be able to communicate and ask any questions you might not have thought of here. But I wanted to say thank you all so much for your time. I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing here. And Tyler, it's up for you.
All right, thank you, Davinia. Well, good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us. We have a great line of speakers up, and it's exciting. My name is Tyler Winter, and I am with ADA Practice Transitions. I'm based out of here in Chicago at headquarters. Prior to this role, which I started at the beginning of the year, I was a dental assistant for 18 years. So kind of making the transition from clinical over to practice transitions. But I'm super excited to be talking to you guys tonight about ADA practice transitions. Stop this here. So ADA practice transitions is what we do is we make the process of joining or leaving a dental practice, or in most of your cases, doctors who are looking to become an associate and new grads. ADA practice transitions helps you buy and sell practice. And then, like I said, we also find a job or hire an associate. And I just stopped sharing. There we go. Sorry about that, guys. All right. So our process, what we do is how it works is you would create a online profile at adapracticetransitions.org. Again, we are the ADA, so you can find it just through ada.org, and then it's upper right-hand corner is ADA Practice Transitions. So what you would do is you go ahead and complete an online profile, and from there what you do, and it's a comprehensive profile where we want to get some information of what you're looking for, how we can help you, and from that portion on, what we do is our advisor team reaches out to you to conduct an onboarding call. An onboarding call is a typically 20 half-hour-minute conversation where we go ahead and go over everything that you're looking for. We go over your education. Are you looking to join as an associate? What does that associate shape look like to you? We want to get your philosophy of care. And then from there too, what we also do is get a sense of, are you looking to own in the next 5 to 7 years? Is mentorship important to you, which is always a big thing, especially for newer grads, as well as doctors who are coming out of residencies too. So from there, we have a phone conversation, go over everything. And from that portion on, what we do is you're live in our profile. And our profile and platform is ADA specific. We don't work with any other brokers or anybody outside of the ADA. And from that portion on, because we're nationwide as well, we go ahead and send you candidates based on what we've talked about on the phone on our onboarding call, what you've put in the computer on your profile, and then as well as we use some algorithm and then an AI on our platform that we can kind of tailor to meet your needs, if you will. As an advisor, what I do is I literally pull up your platform profile as well as another candidate, and I go line by line to see if it's a match. We currently hand deliver these. That will be changing probably in the next early of next year of 24, where you can actually go ahead and search, and there's some search functions available. But right now we do all the hard work for you guys. We just send you an email, and from that with those candidates, and it gives you a skeletal view of who you're looking for, because we take the confidentiality very seriously in the first portion. Their philosophy of care is going to say what they're looking for, maybe why they got into dental in the first place, and kind of go, maybe it's a practice been 30 some years and they're just looking to hire an associate. From there, what you do is it's kind of like an online dating thing, Tinder, Bumble, whatever those are right now. And so from there, what you do is if you like what you see in that skeletal view, there's a connect or a decline button. Let's just say it wasn't for you, you would just go ahead and hit decline, and that kicks it out and it stops right there. That doctor would never see that you declined it, and vice versa when it comes to your end. But if you like what you see, you would go ahead and hit connect. And what that does, it sends an email to another doctor, that candidate, letting them know that you're interested in learning more about them and their practice. They on the other end, we're going to see your philosophy of care. Again, confidential, but it's going to say what you're looking for without giving any identification out. They have an accept or a decline. So let's say they decline for some reason. They would hit decline, it stops there. But if they hit connect, then you guys can see each other's full profiles because you both hit accept. So you're going to be able to see a lot more detail of the practice, pictures of the staff. You're going to be able to see the equipment they have. Some even include financials and from everything from overhead to productions, collections, things like that in there. But more importantly, you're going to have contact information. So what you do from there is you guys contact each other, and you have what we call a screening call. And a screening call is just a quick little interview over the phone just to see if that compatibility is there. You can tell a lot by someone's voice, how they act, the questions they are going to ask, or you're going to ask them, and then the answers they will provide. So you can learn a lot. One of our advisory teams follows up with you after that phone call about 24 to 48 hours after that phone call is conducted and just ask you how it went. You could say, hey, Tyler, it was a great call. I would like to move forward. What does that look like? Or, hey, was it for me? And we kind of back to the drawing board. We do send you up to 5 suggestions at a time. You guys are busy, very busy. So they do expire after 14 days too. So there is some urgency. You know, I'm only going to send you, I'm not going to waste your time with, you know, what I'm sending you. But that's more kind of geared towards you guys coming in looking for an associateship and new grads. But there's other portions as well for doctors who are looking to buy and then sell, or maybe you're looking for an associate to ownership, you know, somewhere down the line. We offer tailored integration plan for doctors who are looking for practice transitions, obviously, and then assistance completing the transaction. Our goal is for you to be successful on day one. When you go to start that new practice, everything is already done on the back end, licensing credentials, obviously, but patients are aware that you're, you know, welcomed onto the team. Staff is aware, everyone's really excited. So that first day, you get to focus on seeing patients, and that's it. No other stresses. I say that loosely, but here's just an example I pulled up. This is a practice in Pennsylvania, 30 minutes from Harrisburg. So this is kind of what we would put in when I'm sending a suggestion out to you. Hey, take a look at this office. This is what they're you know, looking for. Again, just some, you know, starting base salary of 175. Again, you can start paying those student loans off. But these are also things you would talk about on a screening call with a doctor. Great questions asked. How am I going to get paid? What is it based on? I asked that, and it's about 33% is about what we're hearing nowadays based off of collections. What is your insurance? You know, your ADA insurance and your IRA, things like that. Great things to talk about. So this is, again, just an example of someone who is on our platform who is hiring an associate. Okay, nationwide, because we are nationwide, again, we're everywhere. I just could be conducting an onboarding call from someone with Hawaii who is actually looking to go to Minnesota. That was last week. He wants to get out of Maui, obviously, with things going on. But again, because we are nationwide, it really gets our network out there, and we can kind of see who's out there. Again, like I said earlier, we do specialties. We opened that about 1.5 years ago. So while I could be doing a general dentistry as well, we do perio, the whole OS, you name it, we're out there. All right. And the next part here is just our QR code. Again, go over costs. It's free for students and new grads. You don't ever have to pay, especially for your first associateship. So again, what you do is just scan the QR code. It's going to bring you to ADA Practice Transitions. You create your profile, and then after you do all your input there, from there, what it does is you can schedule an onboarding call with one of our advisors at your convenience, and we'll go over everything with you there, obviously in more detail, and again, a more catered plan, but it's free for you guys. So, I mean, absolutely take advantage of this and sign up. And then if it's not your first associateship, it's $500 if you're an EDA member to find a job. And nothing is due until we go and sign that contract with the other doctors for that portion, but I will leave that up. Is there any questions at all I can ask you guys? You can ask me.
Hi, I just scanned the QR code and then
Yeah.
I came up, and are we supposed to hit the find a job button to sign up?
It should be, yeah. I know we just updated. We had a big upload. It should be on there. Let me actually see here. Should be find a job, but there should be, if you click, is there a spot for an associate? Let me just, associateship there. Let me actually just try here. Yep, so you would go to find a job, and then from that portion on, you should be, it's going to ask you to create a profile. Again, it's probably going to be best to do from a desktop because it is kind of comprehensive. Were you able to see that? I hope.
Yes, I see it. Thank you.
Okay, of course. All right. Well, I hope to talk to you guys soon and our advisor team. Good luck with everything.
Hi guys, I'm Lauren. Thanks for hanging in there. I know you've gotten a lot of information so far. My name is Lauren Bellows. I am an endodontist. I work in the Ardmore area, which is just right outside of Philadelphia. I am on the Pennsylvania Dental Association New Dentist Committee. So I'm going to talk to you a little bit about some things that the New Dentist Committee really likes to promote that are benefits you can get if you're a member of the Pennsylvania Dental Association. So the first topic is continuing education. Of course, I think Amanda went over all the different requirements, so I'm not going to harp on that too much. Of course, the 30 CE credits. If you are a recent grad, you're going to get 2 years of free unlimited CE courses, and that's going to be through the ADA CE online. So that's going to be all recent grads. As long as you are a member of the ADA, you'll go on and you'll be able to access that. You'll also receive complimentary discounted CE through the PDA. So Act 31 and Act 124, I could be wrong, but I believe that they are both the child abuse CE and then the new DEA mate requirements. And so both of those things are required for your licensure, and then they're required for all of your relicensure every 2 years. And so you can go on, you can check on the PDAdental.org, PAdental.org, and you can get some of your courses for free through there. I've used them in the past. I joined as a dentist in Pennsylvania after completing residency in Massachusetts during like an off year. So I've renewed my license like multiple times, even though I've only been in Pennsylvania since 2018. And I have utilized all of these. It's very easy to find on the PDA website. And new grads receive 18 months complimentary with the ADA and the PDA. We always have signing day in the spring. We'll have it again this year. The past couple of years, we've been doing both virtual and in person. So you'll definitely have a chance to sign up. You'll get, you get all kinds of discounted memberships, discounted services, and you get like early access to some membership deals. And through your ADA and PDA memberships, you'll get the ADA and PDA journals. The PDA journal is the Pennsylvania Dental Journal, PDJ. It comes out every couple of months. The next one will be September, October. And it covers a variety of topics. So it's not going to be necessarily a journal that's covering deep research or, any type of clinical information. There are some clinical topics, but it's more about a dentist as a person, which is great. What's going on in your local area, professional issues, lobbying issues, things we're as a cohort working on with our legislature, treatment, like new protocols, new procedures, new materials. And then just like activities in your local area, also just in the state of Pennsylvania, CE courses and ads for jobs and, sales of practices and stuff. The JADA is the Journal of the American Dental Association. I'm sure you guys are very familiar with it. It comes out monthly. That's going to be your research, more clinical heavy. It's going to cover all current and, new topics in dentistry, lots of clinical information materials, pharm. Lots of reports on practice guidelines. These are the types of things that you're going to be reading once you're out of school, since you're not going to be just being fed the information in lectures. And it's a really great aspect of your membership that you just have access to this. It's both are digital, and you can get them still hard copy in the mail. And the last thing I'm going to touch on is the Connections Mentoring Program. So you are more than welcome to access this right now as dental students. You're also welcome to access it as new dentists. So you can join through the PDA website. It's padental.org connections. You can see it right there, and you just click request a mentor. We'll try to match you up. So it's like an actual human being that gets the request, and then they look and try to find a mentee a mentor and a mentee that would match. So maybe it's based on the area that you're in. So they're not going to match someone who's in Philadelphia with someone who is in Pittsburgh, because they want to encourage you to meet for coffee, or maybe the dental student could even shadow you at your practice. I have had successful experience as a mentor. I've had 2 mentees over the past couple of years since we started the program. It's been great. One was a second year dental student. And so he just kind of had some questions. He was interested in endodontics. We just kind of chatted about that. And, that was actually during COVID. So we did all of our chatting over Zoom. And then more recently, I had someone who was about to graduate, and she might come out and chat at me at the practice. So it's been really great getting to know a dental student on a personal level. I've participated in quite a few lectures, so I've probably seen some of you guys before. But you can always reach out to me either through this program or through Amanda. And then just any questions.
Okay, thank you to our wonderful presenters tonight. I hope everybody feels more comfortable with what they've learned today. I wanted to share 2 upcoming webinars I am holding very shortly. So one is Speed Mentoring, October 26th at 7 p.m. So there will be multiple member dentists, and it'll be similar to speed dating, and you'll get switched around in breakout sessions, and you'll be able to ask any questions that you have. And then the other one on November 1st at 7 p.m., we will have various residency directors from around PA, so you can talk to them and learn more about your programs, their programs, the day-to-day logistics, and ask them any questions that you have as well. I'll give you a moment to scan the QR codes if you would like to join them. And then I will be sending a post-event email to everyone who attended tonight. It will include a survey, and you will receive an Amazon gift card for completing that survey. It'll just ask questions, suggestions for next webinars, what you liked, stuff like that. I will also include the next webinars and the contact information of our presenters tonight, and then a recording of this webinar as well. And then are there any additional questions? Okay, I would like to thank everybody for coming tonight, and again, thank our speakers. They did a wonderful job. And then I would like to share one last thing. PDA members can get exclusive values that aren't available to non-members on secure, high-quality products and services through the PDA Member Advantage program. This includes deals on credit card processing, dental supplies, student loan refinancing, website design, and more. For a complete list, visit the link on the screen. And again, thank you everyone for coming tonight. I hope you learned a lot and have a wonderful evening.